Perimenopause changed my relationship with time. Do you ever feel like you're never doing enough, no matter how much you do? I used to need my house to be perfect before I could relax. For years, I thought if I was productive enough, fit enough, had the right career, that it would create that secure and peaceful feeling I was yearning for. It didn't. I wasted years thinking if I could just get that perfect weight, the perfect size, I'd finally feel confident. I never did. Then there came this point I couldn't take the soulless meetings, the large useless parties with superficial conversations. I realized maybe the first half of my life was about accumulating, gathering, expanding, and the second half, it was about editing, shedding, releasing. Here are the 5 things that I had to let go of to meet my second half of life, where it was naturally heading. The prestige fallacy. The first thing I had to shed, my past corporate image. I went to law school, graduated top of my class, and built a career on Wall Street. But then I walked away. I left the handsome paycheck, the matching 401k, the first class travel. I traded my sharp suits and designer handbags for hands-free sneakers, elastic waistband pants from Amazon, and my phone purse. I love my phone purse. My soul yearned for a different conversation, one where I didn't have to pretend. I just had a need to be me. I craved talking to somebody who shared honestly and not for pretense or positioning for advancement. And I quickly learned that the hardest part of letting go wasn't the money. It was the prestige. When I meet people now, they don't know who I once was. Now I have to be okay with people seeing just me, my gray hair, my simpler appearance. I had to shed the satisfaction of being the power corporate star, trading the need to be impressive just to be me. The optimization trap. The second thing I had to let go of, berating myself for not being productive. Here's the thing about productivity culture. It told me if I just optimize enough, hustle enough, wake up early enough, I'll finally feel worthy, at peace, deserving, done. But I didn't. I was just stressed, chasing. Something is wrong when the done is never more than a second flyby, and the doing is 99% of my life. So now I put less on my to-do list. Instead of asking, is my to-do list perfectly checked off? I ask, did I show up for the thing I was doing? Or was I already racing to the next item before I finished what I was doing? Do you ever feel like you're never doing enough, no matter how much you do? Well, remember, now we have the wisdom that it never gets done anyway. The gripping sand effect. Third thing I let go, trying to control people and outcomes. Here's what research actually shows. The more you try to control, the more anxious and stressed you become. Your stress goes up, the relationship gets worse, and the thing you're trying to control, nope, doesn't change. Yeah, my husband doesn't schedule his doctor's appointments until I've nagged him for 6 months. Yeah, my son prepares for his things on his own schedule, like packing for college the night before his flight for freshman year. And studies show that trying to change people's fundamental habits just creates resentment. So I've let go of a lot more. Don't get me wrong. Some things are still so annoying, and every now and then I do let out a nasty, snippy comment, but I do it way less, and I don't let that anger linger. I don't know if it's wisdom or just lack of energy at this point. Honestly, it's my desire for peace. Or, the house. I used to need my house to be perfect before I could relax. And when everyone's home, clutter everywhere. And I'd spend the whole time frantically cleaning instead of actually being there with them. But it rarely stays that way. So now I'm learning to let go, because the mess will still be there. And this time with them won't be. The goalpost mirage. I'm giving up always being on a diet. I'm 20 pounds heavier than my old self, and I know how to get the weight down. I just don't want to work that hard. And I'm choosing to make this version of me okay, because I'm healthy, I eat well, I move, I lift weights, I do yoga, I see doctors regularly for wellness and aging strong. But This is where my metabolism has brought me. And in prior years, at this same food intake and exercise, I would have been 20 pounds lighter. I don't care. I'm not hiding behind a long sweater anymore. I wear fitted pants, and yeah, I'll see the stomach bulge and I got a big butt, and I make it okay. No, I make it more than okay. I make it sexy. Studies show that women think about their weight or appearance on average every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, guys. That's mental energy I could have spent on literally anything else. And you know, the body I hated 10 years ago, that's the body I'd kill to have back now. So our body, it's just like this constant shifting landscape. The goalpost is a mirage that keeps moving like the landscape. You know, over years, the terrain of Earth will change. Nothing can stop that. It creates beauty. Yet we try to fight the changing landscape of our body instead of admiring its wonder. I don't want to be at war with my body anymore. I didn't love it then, and if I don't love it now, then when? I wasted years thinking if I could just get that perfect weight, the perfect size, I'd finally feel confident. I never did, because it was never about the number on the scale. So now I'm making a different choice, making sexy what is now, not someday, not when just sexy now, because here's the thing I really never got before. Feeling sexy is a choice, not an outcome. The I have nothing to wear phenomenon. I'm giving up most of my past clothing types, focusing on comfort. Yes, I still want to look stylish. And my circle of friends, they're pretty high fashion. They dress really nice, really, really nice. And I do feel frumpy around them sometimes, a lot of the time. But I choose comfort over all other things. I used to wear Spanx tights and Spanx underwear and heels and fitted everything. No more underwire bras. I'm wearing comfy, soft cotton, breathable, stretchy bras now. Shoes, they have to empower me, make me feel like I want to move and socialize and interact, not sit down because my feet hurt. I was constantly buying clothes, and half of it I'd wear once or twice. I was never wearing anything else because I was chasing a feeling that clothes couldn't give me. I thought the outfit would make me confident, powerful, attractive. It didn't. I was just uncomfortable. And I don't need to tell you about that I don't have anything to wear feeling, whereas your closet and drawers are overflowing that you can't even see the stuff that you have. Women wear only about 20% of their wardrobe regularly. Women spend an average of 17 minutes a day deciding what to wear. And research shows more choices actually make us less satisfied with what we pick. 62% of clothing purchases are impulse buys. Thank you, Instagram. Yeah, and 80% of women say they regularly feel they have nothing to wear despite full closets. So I'm giving this up. And honestly, this only wearing comfortable clothes, this was easy. But the next one, that was hard. History over harmony, bias. Letting go of certain people in my life. I used to think if we have history with people, we must stay together. But now I realize maybe it's okay if we were there for a season of life and now we grew apart. I'm not abandoning anyone, not being disloyal. It doesn't mean I won't be there if they need me. There's a saying, some people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I spent years trying to make seasonal friendships last a lifetime. You know, before, friends and I, we had things in common like going out, other friends, work, boys. Now, my friendships are more about feeding my soul, learning, supporting, encouraging. These are not things I needed before. Also, very important, I don't want to be busy anymore. I would go to things because I didn't want to feel left out. If I said no, they would stop inviting me. If I said no, they'd be offended. But more than I care about that, I need my time. And so I'm making that okay. Fear of missing out, FOMO, peaks in your 20s and 30s. By 50, most women report JOMO, joy of missing out. I also noticed we used to get together in large groups, and I have a harder time with that, whereas I used to love it before. It was so fun, but that means conversations are superficial, short, surface level, and I don't get enjoyment from that anymore. So now I prefer smaller groups so I can have deeper, more meaningful conversations. Harvard's 85-year study on happiness found that quality of relationships matters much more than quantity. But here's the thing, they measured quality by depth of connection, not length of friendship. So here's what I let go of. Fear of being left out. Because you know what else I no longer have? That feeling of dread, getting ready for an event I agreed to but no longer want to go to. That's peace. Two lives in one. Around midlife, we women go through drastic changes. Divorce, kids, leaving the house, a job ending, a health crisis. And in that moment, it feels chaotic and scary. My mom had that moment. In her 40s, my dad was killed by a drunk driver. And up until that point, she had a small little part-time job, didn't drive, didn't handle finances or bills or paperwork. Dad took care of everything. But after, mom created a totally different person. She was in charge of finances, learned to drive, got a full-time job with insurance and a 401k and savings. She was a badass go-getter, a totally different person, self-sufficient in every way, in charge. Two different lives. And of course, I don't wish that tragedy on anyone, but I learned from my mom that we can be two entirely different people in one lifetime. For me, I walked away from Wall Street, but here's what actually happened. I stopped doing things that made me miserable just because they looked good on paper. I stopped fighting with my body. I stopped trying to control my surroundings. I stopped showing up to things out of fear. I stopped berating myself for not being productive enough every single second. So was it menopause? Was it a midlife crisis? Or was it listening to my soul? So here's my question to you. What are you giving up now so you can make room for something else?